Hello, you're listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network, and we are on the Going Bold Wednesday. We talk about men's issues, topics, concerns. Today, this is the Dad's Going Solo, and I have wonderful Adam Ford here with me. He, he's a dad himself. He takes care of his son, and we're going to talk about some of those issues. So talk to us, Adam. Tell us a little bit about your journey as to why you are, you have custody of your son, but tell us a little bit about that journey.
Yeah, I mean, it was a struggle. It always has been for men. A lot of the time, you think you're fighting kind of a losing battle, and at the end of the day, my son is definitely worth it. It's been me and him for quite some time now, where I'm the one parent. I'm here. Don't get me wrong. I get a ton of support and help from my family. That is huge. However, it's that feeling that it's still your kid. I mean, you have to battle even that, like even family helping. You want to be there for your kids. So it's been a struggle, but honestly, it's the best thing that has ever happened to me in my life. Being a dad to me is it's the number one priority. It's why I do the things I do. I'm going to school. It's why I'm working as much as I can, and in the field that I am. And it's the struggle, yes, is there. There are a lot of issues when it comes to men and even seeing their children. But a lot of men don't think that they have a leg to stand on when it comes to that. And that's in my opinion, that's wrong. Men should really show that they care and they want to be there. And I care and I want to take care of my son the best I can. So talking with you about all this stuff is great.
Yeah, so you're definitely doing that. I want to shout out to Lord Lawrence. Thank you very much.
Lord Lawrence, thank you for turning in, my guy.
100% giving you that support.
Absolutely.
That's wonderful to have that. Here's the thing.
Lord Lawrence was the dad that I was just talking to you about before we went on. That's him. He is the musician. He's the one who him and his relationship with his daughter is the most wonderful and inspiring thing that honestly a lot of the people around me have seen. And he is, yes, a thriving artist and he works his butt off with his music. However, his number one priority is his daughter, and that is the best thing to see. And she's involved in all of it, and just the love that they share is so pure. I just love to see it. Shout out to my brother. That's my brother King.
Hey.
That's my brother King. He has my little niece, and my son and my niece play around all the time. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Well, I think this is important because Dad's Going Solo. I wanted to be able to embrace the dads, the good men that we have out there, the ones that are embracing their children. Maybe they don't necessarily have custody, but they're doing everything that they can to stay in their child's life, provide for their children, be a good dad. And so I wanted to be able to embrace that and share with our audience that there are really great men out there setting examples for our children today and moving forward in a very positive way. I did a little bit of research too, and it's in 2020, 19 million children are from single homes, and it says 25% of all children in the U.S., 16% of them are being raised by their fathers. So that is quite a lot. Of course, it's not as many as the single moms, but the number is increasing. We have here, what do we have here? Love you best, Daddy. There you go.
Thanks, babe. That is my fiance. I'm now engaged, so hi, babe. You make a good point. 16% that's come up since in 2020. That's huge. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people, as the years have passed, they haven't known that there's resources out there to help them, figure out what, if it's a bad separation or whatnot, whatever the case may be, they've figured out how to still be involved in their child's life. And it may not be with custody. It may not be with primary caregiver. It may just be visitation. But when you have that visitation, be there. Show that your son or daughter is the center of your universe, because the love that you get back from your child is the most heartwarming thing in the whole world. I mean, when I get home from work and I walk in the door and my son yells daddy and comes and gives me a giant hug, it is the best feeling in the world. There's a lot of people out there that my brother King and I have connected with that don't know the resources, don't know that they can even do anything to be able to have visitation or see their children. So that's one thing that me and my brother have been really trying to work on, is finding these people and giving them the right directions of where to go and what to do, and keeping their mental state healthy for their children.
Right. Finding out that there are resources out there that will help. Here's the thing. It's that it's really that participation. And so often I hear the guys say, because I run a divorce support group, and I hear them say they get pushed away and they get pushed away. And, I get it. I mean, I understand that your lives evolve and that you start moving forward into other relationships and things like that. But being a parent never changes.
No.
And we should be really strong with our kids to allow the other parent to participate in their life, because that is how they're going to grow into a very well-balanced individual. And our kids are looking at us. They're looking at us to see how we handle it, how we distribute our time, how we solve our problems. And I can't tell you how many times my son lived with my ex, and it was difficult for me, very, very difficult. But there were many times when he would pick up the phone and said, okay, you got to talk to him. He's sick, or he's this, or he's that. And, I would step right in as a parent.
Absolutely.
Do what I needed to do. So this is very, very important. It's a very hot topic, I believe.
I believe as well. And I don't ever want to short single mothers. That is not my goal. Being a single parent in general, if you do it, hats off to you, mad respect, because it's not an easy thing to do. Mm-hmm. Financially, it's not easy. Socially, it's not easy. Mentally, it can drain you. But being a parent does not mean it has to be the mother and father together.
Right.
Being a parent means they need to co-parent and be there together for that child, so the child sees that both of them love them. Like you were saying, in your divorce group, people getting pushed away. Push back. Mm-hmm. Push back. When you get pushed away, that is your child. Push back. You want that connection. Show them that connection, because once you do, there's absolutely, it's getting over that hump of, we had this problem, we aren't together, blah, blah, blah. But it's all needs to be about the child and how the child is going to grow up and see you. I was raised by my mom, and that's why shouts out to single moms. Mom, you've been the best, most helpful person, the most amazing grandmother to my child. But I was raised by a single mom. Me and my dad did not have a good relationship whatsoever. And when Demarius was born, I looked at that child and held him in my hands and said, I will never be like my father. And that is why I'm so strong about when I post about things about my son, or I talk about my son. I want him to see that I'm always going to be there, because growing up without one was confusing, very confusing to me. And it most likely changed a lot of different relationships that I had in my life. But I never want him to feel like his father is never there for him, or he can't come to me. And so it's a big thing for me. It's a big thing for a lot of people. I know a lot of people who grew up without dads that have kids, and they're like, I don't want to be like him. I want to be involved. I want to be a parent. I want to be able to co-parent with the other. Dads, I know it's hard to try and co-parent when you think you're being attacked all the time, Same with single mothers. When you think you're being attacked all the time by the other, your spouse or ex-spouse or whatever it is, it's draining. It's hard. It's a uphill battle. And I promise you, if you keep going, you keep pushing, and you keep loving that child, the reward is going to be definitely worth it.
That's great advice. That's great advice. So how can we do it better, Adam? How can we? As we're going through the process of divorce, how can guys, step up, step forward, and, be a good dad and make it happen?
I mean, a lot of it comes to a situation basis, and I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But men, a lot of the times, dads, a lot of the time, because there is a mother, the child is attached to that mother, that she carried that child for 9 months, she makes the rules about this. But have a conversation with your significant other. Sit down and be like, look, we have turmoil. Yes, I understand. But we don't need to ruin that child, what we made and what we both claim to love. We don't sit down and have that conversation and be like, hey, you know what? We can have our arguments. And if that's the case, that's fine, but it needs to not be in front of the child. We need to do better as dads to not get as upset in front of our children, because when they see that, it's not helpful for the relationship. We need to really show up. That's the first step. The first step is show up. Show up for your child. Show up at soccer games, baseball games. Show up at dance recitals, ballet recital, whatever your child is into. Show them that you are interested. I would say the best advice is step up. Step up. Look at yourself in the mirror and be like, you love that child. Make sure that you go love that child.
Absolutely. I agree with that. As you're going through the process of divorce or separation, you can step up and say, hey, let's work out this parental agreement. Let's figure out our visitation, and then honor and respect that visitation. So as you go forward, you do exactly what you say you're going to do.
That is exactly correct.
Right.
Yes, I understand that separations and parenting, they go through a legal system. Mm-hmm. It sucks. It's hard on both people. I can tell you firsthand, it is hard on both people. It is draining. It sucks to think about. You're having to negotiate your child, and it sucks. That's the best thing I can say. It's just not fun.
But here's the reality. It's like when I had to face this myself, and mm-hmm. I had to say to myself, well, he's going to live with one of us.
Yeah.
Right? He's going to be separated from one of us.
Absolutely.
So let's figure out the best way that's going to be for him.
And that's the thing. Going
you have to put
into
the child first, don't you?
Yeah. Exactly. That's exactly. I was just going to say, going into those mediations, going into those court filings, all of that, it may make you the most angry you've ever been in your life. But think about what is best for your child. What is going to give them the best possible setup to succeed in their life and do what they want to do. Mm-hmm. Just because you don't have custody does not mean you cannot see them. Honor your agreement. You signed a piece of paper that said, you know what, I'm going to be there. Be there.
Mm-hmm. But here's the reality. Sure that, if people would realize this, when you have younger children and they're going to continue to grow, you get this agreement worked out to where it's feasible to you. You have to step aside of yourself, right? You have to step to the other side and not be so focused on, so rigid, everything's so rigid. Because what will happen is if you are co-parenting in a very positive way, what will happen as you continue to go, the rules will get lessened, they'll start blurring a little bit more. And, then things will start working out. If you're accommodating,
yes.
The thing is when you become, a lot of the guys, they want to be very rigid on everything. And if you're accommodating, then what will happen is you'll find more and more that you'll get to have your child. You'll get them a little longer. You'll get another weekend that you weren't supposed to have or whatever, and if you just
Absolutely.
like to say, oh, well, if you want to go and do this, I'll take care of them, that kind of thing. And you'll get it more and more. It's not that you're having to manipulate or to ask permission or all of that kind of stuff. It's just working out something that works out for both of you. Don't you think?
I agree. And accommodation is, something that I've definitely done before. And shout out
Jill's
to my
right
mom,
on
Jill
that, isn't
Ferrier.
she? Yeah, Jill's right
Communication
on
is key. Shout out, Mom. Thank you.
that. Mhm.
Communication, like she said, communication is key. Accommodation is key. Understanding is key. Now, I say that hesitantly as well, because if you're accommodating, but they're still not, they're not accommodating. Guys, we are rigid, like you said, and say, we want this. This is the exact time. Slow down, calm down. Everybody knows that there's traffic places, things happen. Communicate with one another. Hey, stop to get dinner, ran along, bring him home right after, whatever the case may be. Communicate that. Communication and understanding is key. If you can co-parent with communication, your child is going to see, wow, this is my family. That we may not live all together, but I have the support from everybody. Everybody's going to come around and be there for me.
Mhm.
Another thing that I was going to go into with you was, you said, you have to put yourself aside and think about the child. Being a parent means learning patience and, most of all, selflessness. And putting yourself aside to worry about your child, that they come first. It's a hard thing to do as a young parent. It's a hard thing to do as a parent in general. But a lot of the things that you used to want to go do, you can't now. Being selfless and loving that child is by far the best thing that I think can happen, that you can do.
Yeah, I agree with that. I totally agree. It is so hard to, especially when you're at the beginning, trying to sort it all out, trying to figure it all out. And then as you're in the middle of it, you have custody of your son. And
Yeah.
so, like you said, the support of your family and friends is really a key for you to be able to survive, because you work full time, you go to school, so it really is important. So,
It takes a
it's not
village.
easy.
It takes a
It's not
village.
easy being a parent, and
No,
even if you had a partner, because a lot of times we have partners that aren't in existence anyhow, but
absolutely.
but we have a partner. But it's it is not an easy thing to do. But let's talk a little bit about the resources. What have you come across, that kind of has helped you a little bit?
In Oregon, really, it's where I'm based out of. There's several different groups. There's several different law firms that work specifically just with dads who are trying to figure out visitation or fill out that paperwork, because the paperwork and everything that goes along with it is very confusing, to be honest with you. But there are law firms, there are support groups for single dads all around towns. There are resources to where, if you don't have the money for a lawyer, you can get a case picked up pro bono, or, just they want to help you. They want to help you see your child. I think a lot of it has been good, because we'll talk to a group and they tell us just all of their feelings, and it goes into the relationship as well. But that's where I kind of have to try and wrap it back around to, you got to try and communicate. You got to stop being so rigid. You have to start being selfless and loving, and see that this is about the child. It's not about, your feelings or whatever issue took place with your significant other. A lot of people don't know that even online, just the research that you can do and read about different people's stories and what they've gone through and how you're able to have camaraderie around each other. You learn a lot. And just hearing other stories and, terrible breakup. Well, I put that aside and try to focus on that child. Guess where we're at? We actually co-parent well, blah, 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 blah. That's kind of what I think has helped a lot of people around me, is research and the specific law firms that have come out and said, we fight for dad's rights in custody and things like that.
Yeah, I think that's great. We do have our Facebook page, which is Dad's Going Solo, and hopefully we'll get some more resources on there for the guys to be able to tap into. But it is important.
I will definitely post some.
Yeah. So both men and women really do need to have their rights protected. And so today we're talking about men, and it's important that they have a part in their child's life. And just because you get divorced doesn't necessarily mean that you shouldn't be able to participate in your child's life. So that's what we're talking about today. And so that those would understand that you, Adam, are a single dad. You take care of your father, you take care of your son full time. I'm thinking of my dad there. And you take care of your son full time. And, you still live. You still have a life of existence. And, you've moved on and been able to really progress in a very positive way. Let's talk about that when we come back from our break, okay? So we're going to go on a break. Today we are talking with Adam Ford. This is Dad's Going Solo. You're listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network, radio and TV. We do podcasting too. We're on the Going Bold Wednesday, which is men issues, topics, and concerns. That's what we're talking about today. We'll be right back. Well, welcome back. You're listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. We are on the Dad's Going Solo show. We have Adam Ford here with us. He is a single dad. We're talking about Dad's Going Solo, and he is himself a single dad, and he's taking care of his son. He's got full custody of his son, and you're a terrific dad. And so let's talk about the future. Let's talk about, you've gone through the muckety muck of having custody of your son, dealing with some of those things. And how old is your son now?
He's 4 now.
He's 4 now. And so you're moving forward in your life. So how is dating? How was dating for you?
Dating was weird for a while. It was tough. I didn't want to just bring anybody around my son. You know, I was very cautious. I was very picky. I was lucky enough to meet, honestly, the most wonderful woman that I have ever met in the world. She, we talked, hung out, you know, dating was weird because, you know, have to get a babysitter, all that kind of stuff. But I met my now fiance, and when she met D, there was just this connection that you could see between them, that it lit up my heart. I'm very picky about who I bring around my child. So it took me about a good couple of years to like be in a relationship and find somebody. And when I did, I was nervous. I was nervous that how is this going to go? How is my son going to accept it? How's he going to act? Is there going to be acting out because of it? Is she going to love my son, accept him, you know, accept us for who we are, as we become a family? And that, I was lucky enough to find somebody that was never a problem. She adores my son, and he loves her to death. The joy when they get to go do something together, and it's just awesome to see. But dating when you have a child is weird because like what everybody's using, what, Tinder and Bumble and whatever else is out there, right? Do you really want to introduce your child right away to somebody that you met on the internet by swiping? I mean, honestly, like that's my kind of lookout on it. And I think with dating, you slowly progress into it. There needs to be some kind of, you know, oh, we met at a park, which is what I did. When Jacqueline and I first started dating, we met at the park, and one day she said, "Hey, I'd love to meet your son." And I was like, "Oh, okay, you know, let me think. We'll do that. Sure, fine, blah, blah, blah." A couple weeks went by, and we met at the park again, talked, hung out, and that time I brought my son. And the progression needed to be slower, so he understood. And now we all live together, my son, myself, and my fiance, and Jacqueline. And it's awesome to look at where I was when he was 6 months old. Take 2 years really to find myself again, establish that I'm a father, and find out what kind of father I want to be. And then take another 2 years of just loving my child and being with him. And then introducing somebody into that I thought was going to be a disaster. I was actually very scared, but because my son's personality is very in your face. He's very, very much my son, very much boisterous and very. The kid's crazy. Let me put it that way. The kid's crazy, but she loved it. She loved it, and when you will know when you're dating somebody and you introduce them to your child. At that point, you will know, hey, this has a shot.
Yeah. So she accepts you for the way you are, and she accepts him. Now, on your profile, did you mention that you were a single dad?
At one point, yes. I mentioned I was a single dad, and one of my last, like I had a couple pictures on there of myself, and one of my last pictures was me holding my son. And a lot of people would, we would match or whatever, and then they'd be like, "Oh, you have a kid? Sorry," and that was it. And that's hard. That's hard because you do not deserve to be with somebody just because you have another child, but that person is clearly not ready. You have to pick somebody who's ready to take on that responsibility, because even if I didn't have a child and I was trying to date somebody who did, it's a hard adjustment, because the person you're dating is not going to be your priority. your child is still going to be your priority, and they have to be able to step back and be okay with that.
Right.
So and that's hard, especially in a new relationship, because you want that person all the time. You want them around them. You want to love on them. You want to be with them. And that's all you think about. But then you, as the person that you're dating, you have to step back and be like, hey, that man or woman has a child, and that child is going to be priority and come first for at least 20 years, million,
Right.
until they die. You know what I mean?
But there's a little bit more to that too, because you have custody of your son. So you have your son probably more than the norm, right? Where you know, the others, you might be a single dad, but you don't have them as much. You know, you have them maybe on the weekends.
You have a break.
Right.
Yeah.
So you've got a lot more responsibility. So the woman that's coming into your life needs to be aware of that. I'm very cautious about having or encouraging people to have their children's picture on the dating sites. I really think that they should, when they're little, I think they should keep them off. Grandkids, keep the pictures off. I think it's really not a good thing because there's so much out there and stuff.
It took me a long while because of exactly that. You don't know who's on those dating sites.
Right.
And you're putting pictures out there that can be screenshotted and used or whatever the case may be. So it took me a long time. And the picture that I don't know if I can share a picture in the comments. I have a favorite picture of me and my son. And it is, I'll try and share it in the comments for you guys from my phone.
I don't think we can bring it up. I don't.
If we do this again, Cece, I will send you that picture.
Okay.
If I'm on here again, I'll send you that picture, and that can be the picture for the flyer, because it's me and him. We're matching. He's sitting in my lap. I'm looking at him, and there's just so much joy on his face. That was one of the pictures that I did use because I love that picture of my child. And then I got tired of dating sites, and I couldn't do it anymore. I deleted all of them, and I actually worked with my now fiance. We met at work, so we were together every single day. She now has a different job doing the same thing that I do, but she's at a different clinic, and we had to keep our relationship very quiet until she had her other job lined up. We dated for several months before people even figured it out.
Right.
But
because you're not supposed to do that at work.
It wasn't that we weren't supposed to. We could have, released it and told everybody, but I didn't want any drama from anybody at work because we worked together. So we didn't see each other very much, except for really on the weekends. And when it was the weekends, that's the time I get with my son, because I'm at school, I'm at work. I recently just got into Purdue University, Illinois. I get to do all of my degree remotely. So I'm actually going into child psychology.
Oh,
and
got another comment here. I knew you when you were very young. Jill's friend.
Hi, thank you. Thank you,
Denise, for commenting. That's wonderful.
So trying to split the time that I had with my son that I rarely get with school, work, everything else I'm trying to do, and see her. And this was after that he was introduced to everything. It became, let's go to play mini golf. Let's go bowling. Something that he can do with us. And what I love about it now is I was so cautious about who my son was around and who I was bringing around to my son. But now that I have, he's seeing a family. He's seeing two people who love each other, really love each other. And he's seeing that love, but he's also getting the love from both of us. And I think that is the most love, understanding, and caring is the most important things in raising a child. There's things that you can be hard about because you want them to do their best, but then there's other things that you have to have a soft heart and make sure that you're showing your child that this is what a proper relationship could look like. This is what you're supposed to do. This is how this is what love looks like. And that can become in many different shapes and sizes. It doesn't have to be man, woman. It doesn't have to be man, man, woman. It doesn't matter. Children need to be shown that it's okay to love somebody, and this is what it looks like. And I mean, that's growing up, like watching movies, like watching a family of 4 or whatever, and this nice house, and they love each other, and they're the ideal family. That never really exists.
Because love is not perfect, is it?
Exactly. There's no such thing as a perfect love. There is always turmoil.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, if me and Jacqueline ever get in a fight or ever get in some kind of argument, I make sure it is never, and she makes sure it is never handled in front of our child. It is taken, he's here. Let's take a step back. Let's have this conversation later. I never want to show him anger or upset between the two of us, because I mean, yes, as he grows, he will understand more, but at this age, he's absorbing everything around him.
Mm-hmm.
And I want him to absorb all the good things that could come out of a relationship with somebody.
That's
so
nice.
It's
nice.
Yeah.
To hear. Well, I thought that was important to share with our audience, that there is another side. There is light at the end of the tunnel, right?
Absolutely.
And as you progress and you move forward and you start to kind of find your way a little bit, you can have the life that you truly want to have.
Absolutely. And when I'm there, I never thought in a million years that I would be engaged. To be honest with you, I never thought I would be engaged, but I am. And my son loves her and everything I just said, but it's, there are times where I thought I'm never I don't know what I'm going to do. There is no light at the end of this tunnel. There are times I felt hopeless as a parent. I still have days where I feel like I'm not doing my best for him. And it's a struggle. It's a struggle to.
Adam, we all have that. I mean, my kids are pretty much grown now. I still feel the same thing. When I see them going through things in their adult life, I wish I could do something to help them or help show them the way. But
absolutely,
they have to find their own way, and I just have to be there. And,
absolutely. And that's the biggest thing, is just being there. But at the same time, like, I think back and like, wow, like I have all these things that I'm doing to build a family, to be a good man.
Mm-hmm.
And I also coach high school football, high school track. I have very limited time, but I'm now able to incorporate my child into those things. And that has made me feel much better, because I don't feel like I'm giving all of my time to something else and never seeing my child. I will always see my child.
Mm-hmm.
I just want him to see that I'm working for him. I'm doing these things for him and see what I'm a part of. But once I got to that level where I have a partner now who my son adores, and I get a break once in a while. You know what I mean? If I didn't have that and this relationship that I'm in, that I am so grateful for. My mother lives across the way from me, and he calls her Mima. That's his Mima. And she loves his Mima more than anything in this world. It's his sparkle in his eye.
Mima. That's what they call me. Yeah, absolutely.
And it's if I didn't have the people around me, my brother King, who commented on here, my other brother Brian, if I didn't have him to go to for advice and an escape, if I didn't have Lawrence, he has several uncles. He has Uncle Lawrence. He has Uncle Kano. He has Uncle Chris Lee. He has Uncle Chris. If I didn't have those people around to help me and keep me sane and show me. I don't know what I would do, because it wouldn't. He sees a sense of family with all of these people. That is his family. Now it's chosen. It's a chosen family, but they absolutely love him. My uncle Jay, has been one of the most important people in my son's life, because he loves Uncle Jay. Uncle Jay comes over, plays with him, and they do all these things. He'll go have a sleepover at his house and get to have pizza. And it's the love that I see for my kid from all of these people that I just listed. Every single one of you, thank you from the bottom of my heart for being there for me and for my son.
You know, it takes a village sometimes, right? They always say it takes a village to raise children these days. And, you know, our families sometimes are not always made up of who we think are going to be in our family, right? We start incorporating friends and others that really want to be part of our lives. And so that's what's really important, is that as we move forward in a positive direction, we can embrace all of those. Here, Stephen is saying, proud of you, bro.
Steve, hey man, I'm proud of you too. I know he is going through the thick of what exactly what we're talking about. He has a situation with his ex and having a child. And if I can say, Stephen, right now, I know you are an amazing father. Do not give up, man. Keep seeing your son and being there, and don't get mad. Don't get angry. Just be there, man. I know who you are. I know your heart. And I think that your son adores you. So keep pushing, man. You know, I'm always here for you if you ever need a shoulder or somebody to talk to.
Oh, that's very sweet. Well, listen, we're going to have to close out the show. Adam, any last words you'd like to say here tonight?
Guys, thank you so much for letting me be a part of this. I hope to come back with you, Cece, and talk more, and, you know, different topics if we can find some, and you know, talk about being a dad. One last thing, I got this sweatshirt.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys can see it.
I saw the other T-shirt, which was kind of cool, which says "Father and Son, Best Friends." Oh,
yeah.
So
that's a sweatshirt I'm working on right now. It's just a black shirt. I'm gonna put probably Demarius's little patch or a face of him right here. And but no, guys, when you're with your children, last words, guys, when you're with your children, just remember when you were a kid and just how much you wanted to play and be around, you know, your father, your mother, your uncle, whoever was there for you. Remember who you were at their age, and be the person that you needed. Be the person that you needed when you were a child. Remember who that was and be that person, because odds are that child needs exactly what you needed. So be that person and step up. Remember that you can be an amazing father. I am the farthest thing from amazing. I am a father, and that's how I put it, and that's how I always put it. No matter how anybody else sees me, I struggle every day with a lot of things, but I think, you know, be present. Let them know, be present. Be who you needed when you were their age. That's all I got to say.
Wow, that's very good. I mean, I tell you, that's spot on. It's so true. I think we look at our lives and we find the areas that we feel that we needed, and we give those to our children. It's very, very important. So
absolutely.
100%. There you go.
Thanks, Steve.
Well, we're going to have to close out the show. It went by very fast. You guys, we really appreciate you listening and making the comments tonight, supporting us here on this show. It's a new show. We want to try to really embrace dads as they're moving forward in their lives, and help them and encourage them to be able to be really good dads. Those of you that don't know me, and I realize I didn't even introduce myself.
This is Cece. She's amazing.
I'm the Doyenne of relationships, divorce, dating, and I'm a life transition coach. I began the Going Solo Network, WGSN-DB, in 2016, and we're changing lives one talk show at a time. So I want to thank you guys for being here on the show. I hope, Adam, you can join us here on this very important topic.
Any week you need me, you let me know. One more thing, shout out to Roulette Delgado, who used to have the care package. He's doing Seattle Pride this weekend, and I'm so proud of him. Lord Lawrence, shout out to you on your new album. It touched my heart more than you ever know. Thank you for all your hard work, and thank you, Cece, for putting this together and recognizing that, you know, dads can have a voice. So thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. And I thank you for being kind of a co-host here with us. And I hope that you'll continue.
I would love to be.
We would love that. So again, we have Going Bold Wednesdays, which are men issues and topics of concern. We hope that you're enjoying this Wednesday. We have other shows for you. Unfortunately, the care package isn't going to be on tonight. Roulette got tied up, and so he's not able to be there. But
he's getting ready for Pride.
I know he's getting ready for that, so we're going to excuse that, and it'll be quite all right. But we will have the barbershop, and then we will also have the boy and girl thing, which I will be on, and that's going to be very fun because we're going to talk about, are you available? And that's going to be a very interesting topic. And is he not available? So let's stick on tonight. So we'll have just a brief break here, and then moving forward into our next show, which is an hour away. So stick with us here on WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. We are on Facebook page, and we are also on our YouTube channel, so you guys can catch us there. And we'll be here. We're a bi-weekly show, so we'll catch you the next time around. So everyone, bye. Thank you again, Adam. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I hope to be come back in next week.
Yes, absolutely. All right, bye.